What is up, you guys? I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants, and today I am here with my little sensitive plant. Now, I am so hesitant to even pick this plant up to get to show it to you closer. I'll do that a little later in the video, and you'll understand why later. But you might also know this plant as the Mimosa pudica. I think that's how you say it. Probably not. Probably not even close. That's one of the names. It also goes by the name shame plant, which literally cracks me up every time that I hear it. I think of that little lady like ringing the bell. She's like, shame! Shame! I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about. I swear I'm not crazy. Anyway, this sensitive plant is so cool in my opinion. I had wanted one of these for such a long time. And if you watched the video that I did on 10 plants that are super underrated and still cheap, then you probably saw this in here and heard me say the same thing. But you know, when I had been like 5 or however many years old, however old you are when you're in like kindergarten, we had gone on a class field trip to the botanical gardens, and you know, of course they have every plant in the world there, and this was one of them, and they let us touch it. And when you touch this plant's leaves, kind of, which is why I didn't want to pick it up, they go whoop, and they just all close up. It's so cool. It's like a Venus flytrap, but just like cooler, because there's a million of these little leaflets and they all do it. So this is literally one of my all-time favorite plants. Now, if you get the care right, these plants are literally like an invasive species. They grow like a weed and are super easy to care for, but when you first bring it into your home, since they do kind of have a little bit of a delicate leaf, it can be a little tricky to get it right. However, keep watching and we'll make sure that you know exactly how to take care of it so that this plant stays happy and healthy for you. Now, kind of like the Venus flytrap, of course, this plant also moves. And I think if you're familiar with the care for a Venus flytrap, then you're really gonna nail the care for these guys right away because it's very similar. So something that surprised me when I first got this plant and I had been doing wrong with it was the fact that it's going to like a bright indirect light. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. The fact that this plant is going through so much motion throughout the day means that it probably would need all that light to make a lot of energy and, you know, do all those actions. I had just been surprised only because the leaves feel very delicate, they're very dainty and small. So when I had first got it, I was kind of putting it in a dark little corner, and let me just say, it did not like that. Now, again, like a Venus flytrap, these plants are going to like a pretty moist soil. I'm sure you could honestly, again, like a Venus flytrap, put them in some sphagnum. I haven't tried that. I just have it in a basic potting mix right now that I do keep pretty moist. I water them, you know, as soon as it seems like he starts to dry out. And kind of going hand in hand with that, they're going to like to retain their humidity as well. So if you're living in the desert like me, crank up that humidifier, because otherwise this guy's gonna get crispy real fast. Now, fun fact about this guy, which, you know, this plant's already fun, so bonus fact, but they are actually related to the bean and legume family, which I'm not super familiar with what those plants look like, but did surprise me. So, you know, if you're ever at trivia night, now you know. As for how these plants will develop, one of the great trademarks of them is they get these beautiful pink, fluffy looking flowers on them. They typically develop somewhere around midsummer to early fall. So it could happen any day now. We're in the middle of summer. I am patiently awaiting for these flowers to come. There is a sweet little man at the nursery that I buy this plant from, because, spoiler alert, I had killed them and had to buy multiple, but every time I go there he goes, oh, did it flower, and it never flowered because it died. But I am patiently waiting. I think this is the one. I think I finally have the care dialed in on this guy, and I'm waiting for those flowers to bloom. So let me know in the comments down below if you've had flowers bloom on this guy, because I've actually never seen that in person. So really excited. Now, part of the reason why it took me so long to acquire one of these guys is because they're really not good shippers. So unfortunately, it's one of those plants that if you want it, you kind of just need to either, you know, buy it in the store as an established plant. But on the flip side of that, you can buy the seeds and they're really easy to grow apparently. Now, I can't talk on this from experience because I've never grown them from seed, but everything that I've read online seems to point to the fact that basically you just plop them in the soil and, you know, wait a couple weeks and you've got a new plant. So if you can't find one of these locally, I always see the seeds on Etsy. I considered buying them multiple times before I found these in person, but you know, that might be an option for you. Now, I always think that these plants are so great if you have kids because it really, to me, is a great way to introduce plants to kids and make them excited about them because they get to touch them, they move, it's just fun. And what's so great about these plants is they're actually non-toxic, so you don't even have to worry. You know, I don't have kids, but if, you know, your kid likes to chow down on plants, then it's totally fine. They can do that. The one hazard that they might come across is on some of these stems you will have little thorns, so it, you know, might not be the most pleasant experience, but hey, at least they're not toxic, right? Final thing that I think is so cool about their motor behavior is that if you touch them and you continue to introduce stimuli to them that is the same over and over, and they identify it as not being harmful, they'll actually stop reacting to that stimuli, which means that these plants are actually smart enough to learn. Now, I thought that was the coolest thing when I heard it, so one more reason to be in love with this plant. Now, that is all I have for you guys today on the sensitive or shame plant, but if you have any additional information, please drop it in the comments down below. I would love to learn, or if you just had questions that I didn't go over, of course drop those down there too, and I will do the best of my ability to answer those for you. Don't forget to give that like button some love and hit that subscribe button as well. Always put out new videos on this channel, and we would love to have you along for the journey. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.